Welcome to the Power of Your Voice podcast with your host, Johnny Gorky. You have the power to overcome challenges and fears. Let my voice and the voice of many others show you how to transform these challenges into opportunities. To learn more about future podcasts and read episode show notes, check out my website at www.thepowerofyourvoice.com.
Welcome to the Power of Your Voice podcast. This is episode 36. Today's special guest is Prince Dynast Amir, who is a Pan-Africanist, Philanthropist, author, African Personified, and the Prince of Ororuwo, Nigeria in West Africa. Prince Dynast once worked in corporate America and had a successful career in sales, but one day he was encouraged by a close friend to take a vacation. And without doubt, the first destination on his list was Brazil. As the universe would have it, that trip didn't work out, so he was left with nowhere to go. It was that very moment that a close friend of his encouraged him to go to Africa, and the rest is history. Prince Dynast Amir, it is such an honor to have here on the Power of Your Voice podcast, man. I greatly appreciate you being here today.
No, Janos, we go back, so no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been well over 10 years.
Crazy.
Long time. You are now a prince, which is just incredible. How did everything that you've been through in your life, your childhood, how did everything prepare you to where you are right now and transforming into a prince?
Right. So my fourth birthday party, the theme was royalty. In fact, I even start before that. So you knew me as Albert Hollis the second. Right. So my mom told me the reason why she didn't name me Junior was because Junior isn't synonymous with royalty, and that the Roman numeral as far as second, third, and fourth is. So she named me Albert Horton Hollis II because it goes along with royalty instead of the junior. So my fourth birthday party, it was the theme was based on me being a prince, and it was my royal birthday party.
That's cool.
Right when I was 4 years old. And then even like leading up to my coronation, I remember in Los Angeles, California, I went to a DMV. I forgot where it was at. And I was looking like a bum. I had on just like some sweatpants with like a hole in it, some beat up tennis shoes and a t-shirt. And so this random lady stops me as I'm exiting the DMV. And she says, son, why are you dressed like that? And I'm just kind of like, well, this was the closest thing to my bed, when I rolled out of it. I just threw it on. And she said, don't present yourself like that in public because you're royalty. And this was random. So I would have random occurrences like this. And then it just all came together in December of last year, 2018, where literally, my brother in Nigeria says, hey, Dynast, we're going to go visit Oba, a king in a kingdom called Ororuwo. And I was like, okay. So none of this was expected. I wasn't expecting any of this.
But you've never been to Africa before? This was like the first time?
No. I've been going to Africa since 2011.
Okay.
So I've been going back and forth now since, I guess, going on 10 years. But as far as me going to Ororuwo, wasn't really original. It was planned, but I didn't know until the last minute. So I think the day before, my brother's like, hey, a king wants to meet you in Ororuwo. We're going to go tomorrow. I'm like, okay, cool. No problem. Let's go. So we get there, we're doing our divinations and, we're making our prayers, and he's saying, hey, look, you come from here. Your ancestors were taken from here. You standing in representation of your ancestors, you're now back, and you're royalty. I mean, your ancestors who left were royalty. You were coming back. So we have to give you what's yours, which is your birthright. So we're going to make you a prince. So then speed up to this past March, I have my coronation, and it's
I watched the ceremony. Oh my God, that is really, really amazing how they do that. Beautiful.
right. Right. Janos, I think we should tell people how we know each other. I tell people how, I used to be a male model.
Yeah, well, I would say probably, I'd say around what, 2007, 2008, I believe.
2007.
Yeah. Well, we were working with a photographer, amazing, amazing photographer, Hannibal Matthews.
Hannibal Matthews, my old roommate, who no one
Yeah,
knows where he is, his whereabouts. He just completely disappeared off the face of the earth.
yeah, and we would, man, this, I just had a thought.
Go ahead.
I believe, if I'm not badly mistaken, when we met the first time, what was the theme of the photo shoot? Do you remember?
I wasn't in it. I think
You
he was
weren't?
shooting. No.
Okay. Because I was going to say it was the theme of being a king. It was the theme of
Okay,
royalty.
no, okay. That right. So I wasn't in that photo
Okay,
shoot.
okay.
That photo
Yeah.
shoot, and I know exactly what you're talking about. That was
Yeah.
for Ree's line, which is Rejunio, I believe.
Yes.
Right. But I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
But I do remember that because he
But
had the crown, the chair, the
Yeah.
red. I remember the red.
But
throne
just think
chair.
about it, though. Just the whole circle of all that is still, even though you weren't present then, it was still out there, which is
Right.
cool just to think about. Had a lot of fun too. Now, I wanted to ask you, what are the responsibilities of being a prince? And with the responsibilities, did you ever even think the responsibilities that you would have would even be what you have right now?
Well, I knew definitely when you're put in a position of leadership, number one, you have to serve. You have to serve your people. So I'm responsible for bringing opportunities to Ororuwo, helping with development. In November, I'm having a tour. I'm hosting a tour in November. We're having our festivals.
Yeah, I see
in
that. Yeah.
Ororuwo. Right. So I'm bringing people. So it's about awareness, opportunities, business opportunities. So there's definitely a lot on my plate, and I'm expected to perform, which I've always been in. I would say high performance roles, whether it be sales, sports. So I'm used to it. So I look forward to growing the kingdom, bringing opportunities and awareness and development to the kingdom. So those are pretty much my responsibilities.
Now, what are like what, because there's a thing, when you're a leader, you're responsible for maybe like a small team, but there's a big difference between that and being a prince, because you're responsible for a lot more people. You're responsible, because one of the things is I saw, in some of your videos is, and during your coronation, mentoring the youth. So
Right.
that's a big responsibility too, because you are a big mentor to these young men.
Right. So we're still putting all that together as far as how it could be more structured and controlled, but mentoring the youth, education program. So yeah, I mean, this definitely isn't just some type of paper title. Like I have real duties and responsibilities, and I love it. I look forward to it. I've always wanted to build on the continent, so I mean, here's my opportunity.
Yeah, which is a beautiful opportunity. Now, you travel all throughout Africa. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen. Now, you meet all kinds of leaders. Like, what are some of the things you've learned through all these different leaders that you've met? Because I'm sure you've learned a lot through them.
And it's just, I think one thing really is just the history, um, the knowledge, the history, how approachable they are, how they want the African diaspora, the Black diaspora, to come back and visit and play a role in helping develop and bring awareness and opportunities back to the continent or to their kingdoms. I mean, I met so many different personalities, but I think the main personality trait from all of the rulers that I've came in kings and queens who I came in contact with is how humble they are and how happy they are to see Black Americans like myself coming back and returning. So that's the main thing that stuck out.
Now, what do you think is some things that, especially in the Black African American culture here in the United States, what are some things that we can, not me personally, but your people over here, what can they learn about Africa? Because as you know, you post videos and stuff like that, and my wife is Black. There's a lot of people here in the United States who really don't know their culture.
Right.
What are some things that you think that they should really understand about Africa? Because you've been there, you've lived there.
Well, I would say this. I think for the Black American, at the end of the day, our manifest destiny is in Africa. And I understand how we got here and what we've been through here in America. But for me, America is not the end game. And in the words of Peter Tosh, if you're Black, you're African. And so we shouldn't disconnect ourselves from our roots, and we should make every, I would say, effort to reconnect back to the continent, because in reality, that's who we are. You know, the stop here in America is temporary. I mean, we're people that have been here, been around for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, but we want to confine ourselves to this, I guess, 400-year existence here in America, and I think personally that's a big mistake.
Now, how do you? Because in Africa, people are really loving, caring. They're empowering each other, brothers and sisters. But here in the United States, it's completely opposite. Like
Yeah, doggy dog
always
world.
fighting each other, and it doesn't have to be that. For anybody who's listening to this, watching this video, how can Black brothers and sisters here in America go back to their roots and like empower each other? Because my wife and I, we were at a birthday party. She has a friend. I can't remember. I believe she's from Liberia,
Mm-hmm.
and she was saying during dinner, she's like, I'll talk to other Black women in America, African American women, and I'll say, "You're my sister. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
my sister. Hey, my sister. I love you, my sister." And she's like, Black women, like, why you call me sister? I'm not your sister. It's like, no, you are my queen. We are brothers. We are sisters. And there's like that total disconnect where people get offended by, and it's like, it's not, no, I love you. You're my brother. You're my sister. How can the African American community here in the United States like really embrace each other? Because it's so,
It's Janos. It's just the issue is the environment that we're in here in America wasn't meant, I guess, for us to, number one, reach our full potential, and B, it's not made so we can fully embrace each other. I mean, it's a dog eat dog, 9 to 5, pay your bills. I mean, the problem is the majority of Black people are in survival mode. You know, it's just that's the reality here in America. And I guess if you're not in their immediate circle helping them survive, it's like kind of like, all right, well, who are you? What's your purpose? Okay, we're sisters and queens. How? What have you done for me? I mean, we're in a very "what have you done for me," or "what are you doing for me right now" type of society in regards to Black society. So that could be part of the reason why it's like, hey, who's this girl saying that she's my sister? What is she doing for me? What has she done for me? How is she helping me pay my bills? You know, what do you mean you're my sister? I mean, I'm out here struggling, 9 to 5, kids, bills, so it's just the environment kind of put us in a situation where we would lash out like that. But really just saying hello and smiling to every Black person you see on the street. I make it a point that when I see a brother or sister, I say hello or how are they doing. But it's to the point now, Jana. It's funny. When I first moved to Georgia, everybody spoke. Like when I first came in 2000, I went to the University of Georgia. Everybody spoke versus in California where, it's just a little bit different. But it's to a point now, like literally, if you say hello to somebody, and so she's not the only one. Like me being, an African who happens to be in America, Black America. Um, Whenever I speak to other Black Americans, it's kind of like, "What's up? Like, what do you want?" And it's like, "Look, I'm just trying to say hello." So it's just we've been programmed, Drano. Like this is not our natural state.
Now, somebody might be watching, listening, they're like, you're right, but I don't want to be like this anymore. What
Mhm.
would you suggest them do? Like, how can they break out of that cycle, that chain, whatever you want to call it?
I would say just smile and speak to everybody you see. That's a start.
Change your mindset, change your way of being.
Exactly. Yeah, just smile and speak to everybody you see.
I like that. Now, how does exactly leadership roles work in the monarch and all that kind of things? Because I'm sure people have different roles. Now, during your coronation, you had the king in the center. On the left, I believe that probably was the queen.
Lord,
Then watching your video on the left, I saw all those people sitting in the chairs. I don't know what their roles were, but like how does that whole thing work? Because I'm sure some people might be watching, listening, and they may have watched your videos and like, that's really cool, but I don't really understand the whole function. Can you kind of explain how the whole thing works?
well, it depends on kingdom. It's on a kingdom by kingdom basis, but the Oba, the king, um, pretty much he is the decision maker. He's the final decision maker in the kingdom. Now he might work, and a lot of times, often he does now, because you have the monarchy, then you have, I would say the westernized system of government that is, now operating throughout parts of Africa. So you have the Oba, you'll have mayors who also are in positions of authority in the city, and pretty much they all work together in regards to making decisions that impact the kingdom as a whole. So the Oba is the king, and then you have the local chiefs who will be over. And just it depends so much as far as the roles. I mean, you have some who focus more on the cultural aspect. Um, settling grievances throughout the community or the kingdom. I mean, it's a lot. So basically, at the end of the day, everybody gets together, discuss issues, problems, and find solutions. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like here. You have the president, and the president has a staff. The staff makes the suggestions. The president okays it or vetoes it. Same setup in the kingdom. You have the
Okay, cool.
Oba. He has people that he, I guess, what's the word I want to use? Seeks guidance from. He says yes. He says no. So that's
And
how.
then do the kingdoms all work together?
It depends. They do. So my kingdom, the people from my kingdom, they migrated from another kingdom called Ila Orogun, which isn't too far from Ororuwo. So it depends on the project, So I know the Obas and the Kings, they have their own like king kind of commission where they all get together maybe once a month or quarterly and discuss what's going on in their individual kingdoms, and then they all work on solutions together that can help and impact the kingdom. So they do have associations where they all get together and consult with each other, and problem solving, and figuring out solutions for their kingdom. So they all do get together, and then there's always festivals. One thing I love about Yoruba land uh, is they're always practicing, celebrating, and preserving the culture. So there's always festivals. So Obas from different kingdoms will attend a festival in a certain kingdom. So I mean, for the most part, they all know each other. They all work together because at the end of the day, when if one kingdom's successful, that means another kingdom can be successful. And whatever a kingdom's implementing, in one kingdom, that could probably work in another kingdom where they could put that kingdom in a position of success. So
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, if everybody works together,
right.
everybody can win. If it's just I have to win, and when I win, everybody else loses, that's not really the right way to work. But if I win, they win, we can
Right,
all
exactly.
really be happy, which is really the way it should be, especially here in the United States. One thing I've always loved is the music and especially the colors. Now,
Mm-hmm.
have you learned a little bit about the African colors? Like why do some tribes, why do some kingdoms they use this color versus that color? Like is there really a reason for all that?
Yeah, this is it goes back to the it's more of a spiritual aspect. Like each color represents either a deity, a god, or a certain I would say aspect of life. So there's a science behind it, but it really depends on it's on a kingdom by kingdom basis or a culture by culture basis. So again, colors represent deities, gods. It's a science behind it. So
Wow, that's yeah, because people might be looking at someone's shirt like, oh my God, all the colors just absolutely beautiful. It's so colorful. But that's all they see. They don't really understand each color actually represents something very specific.
So I'll give you an example. So I'm heading to Senegal next week, and I go to an event called the Grand Magal. The Grand Magal is a celebration of Sufi saints in the Mooric community, which is an Islamic sect in Senegal. It's a celebration of Sheikh Amadou Bamba. So Sheikh Amadou Bamba, his I would say his main disciple, his greatest disciple his name was Sheikh Ibrahim Afal. So Ibrahim Afal started a group called the Baifal. All right, the Baifal were pretty much the workers and the protectors of the Mooric community. So they wear different colors and different. I wish I had a shirt on me. I do. It's upstairs. Different colors and different patchwork of different colors. And basically, the idea came. Well, what would happen? Where that came about is Ibrahim Afal used to work so hard in the fields on the farms that his clothes were ripped. And instead of just getting new clothes, they'll just get patches and just sew them up right there on the spot. So he'll just have a bunch of random different colors and patches on, and that just became the style.
Oh, cool.
So it's always something. It isn't just we're matching. It's always something. There's always a spiritual aspect behind it.
Now, how about music?
As far as the
Well, like for example, when you're going through the coronation, there's like a certain rhythm that they were using.
oh,
Like
okay, yeah.
where does that all come from too?
Right. So a lot of times the drums tell it. They well not often. The drums tell a story. So literally with the drum beating, people could translate what they're trying to say. So like for example, when the Europeans came, there's a way that they'll hit the drum that will say white man, white man, white man, white man. So they
Okay,
knew
cool.
Europeans were coming. So it's a story that they're telling behind it that people who know can translate it. And there's a spiritual aspect behind it as well.
The people who need to know.
Right, exactly.
Lots of hidden messages.
Mhm.
Now, being a leader, being around all these amazing leaders, what have you learned about yourself? Because I'm sure as you continue to meet different people and you start mentoring these young kids, there's things that you experience, like maybe there's something you're doing, and after you do it, you accomplish that goal. Like, man, that's amazing what I just did. I didn't realize I could do this.
Right. I think for me, just in life in general, the more I've pushed myself, the better you get. The bigger the goals, even though no matter how big they are, you know, if one man can accomplish them, you can as well. It's been done. That goes from sports, that goes from corporate America, that goes to what I'm doing now. So whatever's asked of me, I know that having faith with action, the universe will help make it happen. So that's one thing I've known. And also too, I want to get into politics a little bit as well. So this is also a springboard into getting into more roles where I can make even a bigger impact on people uh, within my kingdom and other countries and places as well.
I like that. That's good. And you're a very humble, loving person, so I know you're going to do very, very well. What are some things that you're extremely proud that you've accomplished so far?
Uh,
You've accomplished a lot.
I mean, looking back, I think being afforded an opportunity to go back and forth to the continent, that's one. My high school sports career, my
Football.
college experience, yeah, track, my college experience. I mean, there's so much, and I'm only 37, so I'm still young. So, and I know there's way more to come. It's a lot. I mean,
So what are some of your goals, I'd say, for like next 5 years, 10 years? Where do you see yourself?
um, I would say a bigger role um, in Nigeria. In not just Nigeria, but in Africa. Really in the diaspora, a bigger role where I'm making an impact on the continent of diaspora. Uh, Wealth, land, resources, and just really making an impact on the people. That's why I want to have some more kids. I have a son, so I want to have some more kids too.
Yeah. How old is your son now?
5.
5.
He's 5.
They grow fast. Now, does he go with you or does he stay here? How does
Not
that
yet,
work?
not yet. But I want him. I'm gonna bring him one day.
Okay, so
So
he hasn't been to his homeland yet.
not yet. No, not yet. But
But he will. It just have to be in the summer when he's not in school.
yeah.
What do you want people who are watching, listening, who really don't really know Africa? Because I know you've mentioned this, and then a lot of people too. Because when you think of United States, you think of 50 states. When people think of Africa, they're like, it's
One country,
yeah,
monolithic.
it's just a country. No, it's a continent with lots of countries, lots of states, lots of villages, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
What do you want people to really know about Africa?
I think number one, Africa's the future. Number two, Africa is not a monolith.
What do you mean
Um,
by that?
like you said, it's 54 countries. I mean, I think we Africans need to operate on one common African identity, but again, it's not a monolith. And that's one thing, once there's traveling, you get to notice. But one thing that is consistent about Africa, everywhere you go, the people are friendly and hospitable. I mean, and everyone's made me feel at home. But the main thing, the main takeaway I want people to have, especially Black Americans, is realizing that Africa is the future. Period.
Now, what do you mean exactly when you say that? Like the future?
I mean, if you look at the statistics, just really dealing with Black America, I mean, and just America in general, I mean, it's on a decline. If you look at the statistics when it comes to Africa, no matter what negative propaganda people put out, no matter what's going on, no matter what conflict people say is going on or happens, Africa's on the up and up. And everybody realizes that. Everybody. Except for, unfortunately, a lot of Black Americans.
And unfortunately, yeah, that's set up by design.
True, but at the same time, we have access now to smartphones and internet where you could get the information by yourself. So we can only blame outside forces for so much versus, doing the research ourselves.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You can learn so much. Like yesterday, I was actually reading someone posted a comment. It was a brother, and he's talking about you had a picture where there's soldiers,
Right.
and they're all holding guns, and this
Right.
is a black brother from the United States, and he's like, where did they get the money to buy the guns? And I read that. I was like, so he's like, who did they sell or something? Like, what? And I read about the tribe. Well, how do you pronounce it? Ashantis?
Ashanti, uh-huh.
And they're a country who is so rich. What was it, in Ghana? They're so
Ghana,
rich,
right.
and they're so
Go.
rich in gold, and they have this beautiful gold chair that
All right.
that the English queen, they came in and they tried to steal it from them, and you had a female queen who stuck up for her people.
Right.
In such a beautiful, rich story. But yeah, even though they technically lost, they won because they still have the golden chair, which is just
Right.
absolutely beautiful. But the culture, I mean, a lot of people just really don't understand that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
very rich.
Exactly.
Now, through your travels through Africa, and just like any place you travel, different countries, they have different languages. Like, how do you communicate with everybody?
Right now, I'm learning Yoruba, which is the main language of where I'm from in Nigeria. But literally, if I'm is trying to find somebody that speaks English.
You
You know,
usually find somebody?
I've been pretty lucky. I've been lucky. Even in a lot of West Africa is primarily French speaking. So, I've been lucky to find people who rarely, who could I have friends who speak English or a little English who could translate for me. So, it's been working out.
Very cool. And how is the food? Because I see a lot of your videos. You're having all this, looks really, really good, but very different things that you probably wouldn't. Like I saw the other day you're drinking like palm wine or something.
Yeah,
You literally drank the whole bottle.
yeah, food is delicious. Everything's fresh, no hormones and additives, literally farm to table. All the stuff that the health conscious people, want here in America. All the, stuff that the health conscious people want in America that is expensive, which is by design. You can literally get in Africa dirt cheap. So fresh fruits, fresh everything, farm to table, no additives. And just eating food over there, like, stop it. Just eating food over there, you know, beef, chicken, poultry, fish, and then having that same food over here, you could just taste the difference. Even the so-called organic stuff here in America, it's not the same.
Well, yeah, because the stuff over there is not processed. Like, as you say,
Right.
maybe if you get some kind of like grapes or some kind of fruit, it probably was just like literally picked the same day or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like most people watching and listen to this, they know the difference between like a tomato. Go to the grocery store, eat a tomato. It's like kind of sour. Go in your backyard if you have vines and pull a freshly picked cherry tomato and you bite into it, just bursts in your mouth and can really taste it. It's very fresh, very, very sweet. Big, big, big difference. It's not gassed and stuff.
Exactly.
So is there any particular foods that you found that you really, really liked?
I love Senegalese food, so the jollof is the best jollof.
What's that
Uh,
exactly?
it's their like it's rice and like a kind of like a tomato sauce, and it's the way they season it. That and I eat that with it's called chebjen. So their Senegalese national dish is fish and rice. It's called chebjen, but it's so good. So I eat that, the chicken yassa. And I'm about to eat all this stuff next week when I go to Senegal. Uh, their coffee is called the national coffee is called Cafe Tuba. Love that. I can't stand coffee. I don't drink coffee. Only time I drink coffee is when I go over there and I'll drink the Cafe Tuba.
So literally, how does that work though? Because you're there, you're eating all this really, really healthy food, and you just feel good and you got tons of energy and all that stuff. Then you come over here and then you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
I have to eat this.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Now you're there for a while, right?
Well, see, if people think I'm there for a while, but usually I go like 2 weeks, come back, go
Okay.
back, come back. So next week I'll be in Senegal and Gambia. I come back. November, Nigeria and Ghana, come back. December, Liberia, Sierra Leone, come back. January, I'm going to Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Benin Republic. Then I come back. Then in March, I go back. So it's like I'm just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Man, you got a lot of frequent flyer miles.
Oh yeah, that too.
Kind of asked you this earlier, but for anyone who is African American here in the United States, and they really want to embrace their roots, what's like some of the best ways they can do that? Probably going back, go to
Oh yeah,
Africa.
there's nothing compares to going back. Me in 2011, like a friend just suggested I go to Tanzania, and I went, and I've been hooked ever since. So yeah, you just pick a country and go.
Yeah,
I would suggest for Black Americans, West Africa, Sub-Saharan West Africa, because I mean that's where we come from. But yeah, pick a country and go.
yeah, I think maybe the reason why some people probably don't, I mean, I can't speak for myself because obviously I'm not Black African, but when people watch TV, you see this, oh, this is how Africa is like. I saw one of you posts, you show the United States, and then I forgot what country it
It
was.
was Ghana. It was Ghana.
Yeah, and you see these beautiful houses. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I mean, it's honestly, it looks better than the United States in
Right.
many places. People don't see that on TV here in the United
No.
States.
Nope.
So they see all these starving African kids. They see people living in little mud huts and all that kind of stuff. Like, wow, I would never go there because, ew, I have it
Mhm.
much better here. Now, unfortunately, because people see this stuff, their minds close off and they don't realize. And that's why, yeah, they need to go so they get to experience themselves and not whatever you read on the internet. That's how you base things off of.
Exactly.
Because there's some people I see on Instagram, they have literally traveled through like every single country, all 196, I think it is. And we subconsciously were watching TV and stuff like that. We're like, oh, why would anyone go there? And the pictures you see of those countries are, oh my God, they're
Gorgeous.
absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I mean, it's so you got to travel. I mean, it really opens up a person's mind. I've learned so much by traveling myself. Now, if you could go back to what you're 37,
Hmm.
if you could go back to when you were like 18, all
Oh,
these experiences
oh,
you've had,
oh, goodness.
oops,
Oh, man.
is there anything? What would you tell yourself? Tell that younger 18-year-old.
See, you know what? The thing is, there's this movie called The Butterfly Effect.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie too.
And so I think it's the same thing. Like he would make a mistake, but then he had the opportunity to go back in time, I guess, correct it. But then after he corrected that mistake, something else would happen. I think me, I would just, because of the experiences from the mistakes and you know adversity I faced in life, I would just keep it the same. I mean, I would say the only things I would do different is maybe when I was making really, really, really good money, uh, to be a little more frugal with it. But outside of that, man, I would keep everything the same.
I agree 100% because a lot of times we go through these really could be very painful, challenging situations, and it really sucks to be in that situation. But then maybe a year or two later, you're like, I'm glad I went through that situation because had I not, it wouldn't have prepared me for this situation you're currently in.
Exactly.
So yeah, you really don't want to live life with regrets. And that's one thing I've learned through interviewing different leaders is most of them would never really change anything. But yeah, maybe instead of buying baseball cards or buying something that they shouldn't have, like a really expensive car, use that money to invest in something else for their future
Exactly.
later on. Very, very
Exactly. That's
important.
what
Now, you've done several interviews. What is a question that you've never asked before that you kind of wish somebody would have asked you?
I don't know. I've been asked everything. I mean,
But
I don't know. Like even I've been asked like so much. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like I've been asked so much. Like I think you just asked me the question in regards to, well, the question you just asked as far as if I could change or if I could go back to and talk to my 18-year-old self, Albert Hollis, what would I do differently? I mean, that was a great question. In fact, because in fact, I've never been asked. In fact, I've never been asked that before. So you've asked the question,
Okay,
Jam.
well, good. What's the plan for your son? So you want to stay in the United States, maybe
no,
go there?
I would love to raise him over there. You know, obviously that's something that me and his mom have to, discuss. But I would love for him to go to school over there and then maybe come back and go to college here. But I would love for him to go over there. So
That'd be nice. Now, are you planning on maybe doing a movie, writing some more books? Because
yeah,
I,
so I'm gonna write some more books. My books currently are on Amazon. Just look up Dynast Amir on Amazon. My books come up. I want to start shooting some Nollywood movies in Nigeria. So start doing some Nollywood movies over in Nigeria. So that's being planned out as well.
that'd be
So
cool. Yeah, because one of the guys I like to follow was Nas Daily. You know,
yeah,
he he posts all these videos that just 1 minute, but he shows all these different countries, and it's like
right.
that would be great to really go to the different countries within Africa and really let people here in the United States really get to see that, because they don't.
Right.
That'd be very, very empowering. Now, what is the story? So you have that one book that's about the spider.
No. So I wrote. So I have a sales book, sales motivation. Get off your ass and cold call because I'm
Yes.
sales motivation. And then I wrote several children's books that are focused on empowering Black children. So I've written several of those. Amina's Third Eye, my Kinky Hair is Kingly Hair. So I which is more focused on empowering Black children.
Yeah, which I absolutely love because I have 3 children. They're
You got three
biracial.
kids, Jados?
What's
You got
that?
three, you got three
Yeah,
kids?
yeah. So I have a 1-year-old daughter, I have a 7-year-old son, and a 9-year-old son. And it's very hard, very challenging to find books that kids can read that can really teach them about the African culture. There's a few, but there's really not enough, especially for children. Because that's the thing. It's just like finally now you're getting dolls. Like now I have the daughter, but go into the store and look at dolls, and most of them don't look like anybody.
Right.
If you're white, there's tons of dolls that look like you, but for kids of different colors, you don't have, especially with biracial, you don't have that. And I think it's very important for someone to be able to look at something like, okay, wow, I can relate to that person. For kids, they need that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So
So
I think
so yeah,
people like
so
yourself have to put that out there, and go ahead and make products and services that are available for Black children.
yeah, I'm very glad that you do these books. So definitely keep on doing more. Now, the one with the spider,
And Nazi the Spider.
yeah, Anansi the spider, like that's a fable.
Right. Yeah, it's a fable, correct.
Yeah, now probably most people here in the United States never even heard of her, the little
Well,
spider.
well, well Charlotte's Web, they say was bitten or taken from a Nazi.
Really?
Hmm.
So what, like
Just like the lion,
stolen?
just or stolen, right? Just like the Lion King is bitten from the Epic of Sundiata, which was a king in Mali. So that's what happens. So they know about it. It's just the titles and the faces are different.
Dang, didn't know that. I'm sure there's a lot of that too.
Yeah,
People take things from other cultures and they kind of claim it as their own.
exactly.
And unfortunately, the people who create it don't really get the proper respect that they should.
Exactly.
What do you do now when you go back and forth to Africa for 2 weeks?
I think number one, I focus on the culture as far as documenting and shooting and kind of just sharing my personal journey, me going back and forth to Africa, uh, meeting new people, Now getting land has been a big priority of mine. When I go back, I'm trying to think what else. It's a lot. Just enjoying home. That's what I do when I go. My friend Senegal, he told me, Dennis, when you come to Africa, you're not coming as a visitor. When you're coming home. So I just go enjoy home, meet people, integrate as much as I can into the society, the communities, the kingdoms, document it, and
So,
really show show people the Africa that they don't see on TV.
which is great because that's what people need to see. What are some things? So you're in Africa. You wake up in the morning. Like what is like your daily routine?
Get up, meditate, um, eat. I love to eat, and then it just depends on the day as far as the schedule. Go to festivals, go meet this person, go meet this Oba. It depends on the day. Go see this monument or museum or statue or historic site. Then I'll do get around like a local. Maybe stop by, go into a mall. I love the markets, the local markets. Go to the local markets. Just it depends on the day.
Well, it's very interesting how your story is, though, because everybody pretty much saw Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Now he's a prince coming to New York, out of all places,
Right, Queens.
to find himself.
Right.
Now your journey is completely opposite. You're here in the United States, going to Africa to find yourself, which is really cool. Now, do you kind of have like the same thing? Like when you get there, you have a person who kind of like an assistant kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have friends on the ground who help me out and look after me and take me around if need be. But I mean, now, like in Nigeria, I get around on my own. So I just, you got Uber. So I catch an Uber.
Uber,
Yeah.
Nigeria?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
So I catch
wow.
an Uber everywhere I need to go. When I'm in Lagos and I need to get to Osun State, I just catch the local bus and go that way. So I get around like a local now.
So really, it's just like any other place, like Europe,
Yeah,
here in the
I
United
tell people
States.
that the same acts, the same luxuries, we have in America, you could have over there. They're there.
So you have a good phone signal, you can just hop on the
Yeah,
bus, go into town, all that kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Dang, that is so cool. Because yeah, most people wouldn't even know that.
No one would know that. No.
Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, well, maybe you use like a satellite phone. Wasn't sure exactly how well the
No.
signal would be.
No. So I take my Note 9. It's a dual SIM. So I have my Nigerian number, my American number. I go and it works. But I am looking at getting. There is a satellite phone coming out that I am looking at getting. It's just I hope the camera on it's good. So when I stream on Instagram or anything, that the quality would be good. But I am looking at getting a satellite phone. So
Now, in terms of like economy and all that kind of stuff, how does that compare to here in the United States? Like, for example, through government, do you have you want to get land? Like, how does that work? Is that like the same principle? You go to government, you buy like a deed and property and pay
well,
taxes on
yeah,
the land and all that.
right. So I mean, it's depending on the country, the process is similar to here, where you find a piece of land, there's a buyer. I mean, there's a seller. You'll have an agent. You make sure the title is clean, and you pay your money. The land's registered in your name. You get a deed, and it's our title, and it's filed at the government. Yeah,
So it's all exactly the same.
yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool. Wow. How does gas work? Because I saw something that looked like what some people might make their own gas, or there's like that thing. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on there?
Yeah, so some parts they do. Well, they don't make the gas, but they have people kind of. I'm trying to think. I think there's like some underground pipelines they tap into, and they'll get the gas and sell it on the black market on the street. So like for your motorcycle, like literally you'll just pull up to somebody on the street with gas, and they'll give you the gas right there versus go to a gas station. It's cheaper. So there is a black market with gas in West Africa.
That's cool. Wow.
It's very dangerous though. So because the handling of it, because it's gasoline, so the handling of it can be very dangerous versus going to a regular gas station.
So what are like the costs of things for people might be interested in that? Like when you buy fruit or clothes or whatever it might be.
Well, I get my clothes custom made. I would say what am I trying to say? The food, this is what I tell people. You can live good in just about the majority of Africa for $1,000 a month. Housing, bills, food. You can live great for $1,000 a month.
So compared to if you had $1,000 there to live kind of like a similar lifestyle, how much would that cost here? Like say for example, Atlanta.
Atlanta now, because Jay, the glory days back in '07, you get a two-bedroom apartment, two-bedroom bath in Atlanta for like $750. Those days are over. Like you're spending like $300 now. $1,000 there in Atlanta. If you're single, no kids, I would say just double it, 2,000. I mean, you can still get like a one-bedroom apartment in Atlanta if you're single for maybe $1,100. Those are still around. Your bills. If you want to go out, food. Because when I was in Atlanta, I was making like, depending on the month, depending how sales were. I want to say the loft me and Hannibal we were paying like $1,400 a month for our two-bedroom loft.
That was a very nice place too.
Yeah, but those days are over. That thing's probably like $2,000 now, probably more.
Yeah.
Those days.
Yeah, no, they have some two bedroom, two bath. I think people are paying like $3,000-$4,000 depending on where you live.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, back in the day with Hannibal, I could get by, car note and all that stuff, $1,500, a month. Now $1,500 a month, you have to go to like Riverdale. You can't live like that anymore in Atlanta. So I would just say double. So $1,000, depending where in Africa, which is a good base mark. In Atlanta, if you're single, it's going to be about 2,000.
So for someone who's watching, listening, and they're like, "Hey, I want to go to Africa. Where is there like a particular place that they should visit first? Is there like, do you need visas? How does that whole thing work?"
I'm gonna say come to Nigeria. Come to Nigeria. Come visit Nigeria. You do have to get a visa, but I'm encouraging people to come to Nigeria. Nigeria it's an absolutely beautiful place. The people are friendly. It's a great place.
Now,
Don't believe all the hype, the negative hype you hear about Nigeria. You just come visit. You'll love it.
and so like where you are, like how many people are in the city?
I think it's 80,000. No, 40 or 80,000. I want to say it's 80,000 people.
Okay. Where you are a prince, there's 80,000 people?
Yeah, in the kingdom, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. It's very, very cool. And how's like the weather and all that kind of thing?
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah, because I know there's palm trees, so it must be pretty warm.
Yeah. It's hot.
So like they have really good.
I've been March, May. I've been to Nigeria, the Osun state. I've been there every season, and it's always hot. So I've been there August, starting from last year, August, October, December, March, May, August. So yeah, it's hot.
Cool. Yeah, well, it's really no difference except for the fall and winter here in Atlanta because it's hot. But yeah, I guess basically like it is here in the summer, it's like that all year round.
Not as hot as it is right now in Atlanta. Atlanta is burning hot, but it's okay. Put it like this: it will be equivalent to being between the 80s, and it'll get to like the 90s, 95. Like that's the equivalent to every time I've been to Nigeria is that weather.
Cool. Yeah, well, you just don't have the humidity probably then, huh?
Depending where. Yeah, you'll have humidity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how are the, like the animals and stuff?
You don't. I don't. It's not like that. I don't. I mean, you'll see some stray dogs here and there, but it's not. You know, I don't see any.
Okay. How are like the museums?
Oh, they're
I'm sure they
beautiful.
have really beautiful museums there.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Depending which one you go to. I love the museum in Ife. Um, yeah, it just depends what the museum in. I'm trying to think which. I've been a couple in Cote d'Ivoire. You have the War Museum in. Well, you have Kwame Nkrumah's burial site in Ghana. That's nice. In Accra. Trying to think where else I've been. Oh, the Renaissance statue in Senegal in Dakar. That's absolutely that's a beautiful site to visit and see. So I've been there. So I would say the Renaissance statue is probably the nicest one I've been to.
And these, well, yeah, because that's the difference between Africa and here. United States is a very new country, but the things that are over there, like they've been there for what, maybe thousands of years?
Some things, yeah.
Really, really long time, which is really, really cool. Now, what exactly, for anyone who's watching this, what are those two things right next to you?
Okay, so these are a Google. So a Google, the masquerades represent the ancestors. So in voodoo and in voodoo culture and Ifa culture, during ceremonies and festivals, they'll actually come out and perform, and they stay in representation of the ancestors. So that's what these two are.
So those represent like spirits?
Right, ancestors, spirits of the ancestors.
Okay, yeah, okay, so that's like what, a person kind of?
Right,
Because there's a hat on it and everything.
right. Mm-hmm. But these
Okay.
are just, but they have like when you go, you'll see there'll be people in them dancing the streets. Yeah.
Okay, so these are like
So
miniature versions.
yeah, these are miniature. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. I like that. So, Prince Dynast, how can people who are watching and listening, how can they support you in what you're doing, support the African community? How can they get in touch with you, find you books, and support you in any way, shape, or form?
Go to dynastamir.com. Go to dynastamir.com. Reach out to me, email me, call. All my contact information is there. Dynastamir.com. Dynast Amir AMIR.com.
Okay, cool. And what are some major things that you like people to take away for listening to this?
Like the main thing is, especially for Black Americans, Africa's the future, and that's your birthright. Go connect, go reconnect.
Anything else?
Nah, just it's been years, man. Thank you for having me on.
All right, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being here on the Power of Your Voice podcast.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Johnny here. Thank you for listening to the Power of Your Voice podcast. I'd love to get your feedback on this episode and how it impacted you. If someone in your life could benefit from this episode, share it with them. Check out thepowerofyourvoice.com to read show notes, leave a comment on the blog page, and to stay updated on all future episodes, subscribe to this podcast and leave a 5-star review. Thank you for your love and support.